90% of people can't get shredded because they don't understand what diet they should be eating, what types of foods they should be eating. Oh, after the gym, should I come back and make a protein shake or should I come back and eat chicken and rice? But what if I told you that neither of those things are gonna get you one, shredded, two, high test, but be able to sustain that for a long period of time? Our ancestors never ate like that because they never had that available to them. But our ancestors were able to walk around that 10% body fat while never tracking their calories, never going for jogs or doing other this bullshit because it is all bullshit. Dieting is pretty simple when it comes to what you should be eating, how much you should be eating, and when you should be eating. But the thing is, there's just so much information out there that's straight bullshit. And this is why the primal ancestor way with dieting and lifestyle is what's gonna allow you to get shredded not only in 2 months, 4 months, 12 months, but for the rest of your life because it's so sustainable in the way you feel, look, and produce on a daily basis is gonna take you to that next level. For a long time, I was not following the correct diet for high testosterone, high metabolism, and optimal living. I was eating the freaking protein oats, the protein shakes, the chicken and rice, the Greek yogurt, all that stuff. But guess what? I wasn't high test. I wasn't seeing the gains that I want. And it wasn't sustainable long term because my gut health was fucked. I had acne and nothing in my life was optimal. But now I eat the same diet every single day and I enjoy it. It's fun to eat this way. I'm eating steak and watermelon. It's that simple. Too many people overcomplicate their diet. But when you understand what foods you have to eat, when to eat them, and you understand the point behind those foods, it's so easy to follow. And it's not like you're restrictive because this food tastes amazing. This food tastes amazing because it's what we were supposed to eat. Not protein shakes, not chicken and rice, not vegetables, all that bullshit. And see, that's exactly why I'm making this video. Everyone needs to know what diet they should be following to get the results as quick as possible. Because diet is 80% of your results. And when it's easy to follow a diet, oh shit, it's easy to see results. So I'm gonna give you guys the exact diet plan that not only that I use, that my clients use, and that everyone should use to see results. Because why do you want to be a soy boy for the rest of your life? Why do you not want to eat like our ancestors? Yeah, and one more thing before I give you this diet plan. I want you to understand that this isn't some diet you do for 60 days, 90 days, whatever it may be to get shredded. This is a lifestyle change. The primal ancestral test maxing method to get shredded and eat like this for the rest of your life. Because why would you not want to eat a steak every day if you had the opportunity? Why would you not want to eat eggs? Because it's amazing. Look at this. I'm in the sun right now, eating eggs, boosting my test, feeling amazing. Eating chicken and rice inside, not doing shit, isn't gonna get you the results that you want. And this is why every single client of mine, and this is why I am able to make progress every single month, every single year, every single solitary day. Because I know that this is the right method and the right diet that will get you shredded. With that being said, let's get into the diet plan. Okay, so this is going to be the most detailed diet plan that you're probably ever going to see because I'm not just here to tell you what you have to eat. at what times. I want you to understand why you're eating these foods specifically, why you're eating it at that time, and why you have to be doing this forever so that you can see the best results, have the best energy, have the highest testosterone, and be the best possible man, possible. So this is the only diet plan you're ever going to need. And the truth is, when it comes to seeing the results that you want, there's only two paths to go down. You're either going from skinny to jacked, or fat to jacked plus shredded. So you either want to just strictly gain muscle while keeping the same body fat, or you want to lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. Those are the only two options. People might argue that there are other options that you can do, but this is pretty much it. If you want to go from skinny to jacked, you don't need to add fat. If you want to go from fat to jacked and shredded, you don't need to only lose fat. You need to be gaining muscle in both processes. It just comes down to the body fat that you are and optimizing your diet for that. Now, I cannot speak for the people who want to go from fat to jacked plus shredded because I've never been there. I've never been jacked and overweight. I've only been skinny. So in my process, this is what I did to, go from skinny to jacked. But I have multiple clients. Now, these are only three examples: Louis, John, and Mitch. But I have multiple clients that were able to lose fat and gain muscle. And in this process, where this is literally a 4-year transformation, 2 years here, 2 years here, this 2-year difference was chicken and rice, protein shakes, oats, test killers. That's not the optimal diet. And you can see I still don't look healthy. I have some gyno. My testosterone's not that high, as you can see, like my androgens aren't that high. But then once you switch over here, my skin's healthier, my androgens are a lot high, my muscle bellies are a lot more full. You can see the noticeable difference from here to here to here to here. And the crazy thing is, when you're a natural, you don't make progress like this just out of the ordinary. But when you switch your diet to optimize things, then optimize your hormones, optimize your micronutrients, all that stuff, you can make progress really fast. And you can see the progress from here to here is faster from here to here. I'm going to be honest. And it's way more impressive going from this to this. And the only way I was able to do that was following the diet, the same exact diet that someone like Louis followed, my client John followed. These are all my clients, and they all had the exact same diet. Now, the portions were a little different because, 6'2" Louis is different than, 5'11" Mitch. Or, the body fat here is a lot different from someone like here. So you do have to optimize for your servings, but the same thing holds true for all of us. And that is, we have the exact same diet. Now, this diet is the same. It's literally the same. The only difference is the portions. And the reason it has to be the same, no matter what position you're at, is because it's optimized for correcting your hormones, optimizing your testosterone, and getting to that ancestral primal living that we would do for years. So, what is this diet? So, let me break down just the grocery list so you have an understanding of what you have to be eating, because everyone's eating the same stuff. So, grass fed steaks and ground beef. Now, I would always recommend getting grass fed steak if you can, and ground beef, because it's going to be more nutrient dense. When you feed cows corn and soy feed, which is the normal ground beef, the normal steaks, it has higher omega-6 fatty acids, which is actually inflammatory for some people, especially if the ratio to omega-3 and omega-6 is off. Same thing with pasture-raised eggs. If they're corn and soy fed chickens, the eggs are going to have higher omega-6 fatty acids and actually less vitamin A, vitamin K, and other vitamins. So this is why you want to make sure you can try and buy the best available beef and eggs, because this is the staple for your food. You're going to be eating beef and eggs pretty much every single meal. And people are going to be like, oh, but you're going to get high cholesterol. High cholesterol only exists if you're eating processed foods, if you're drinking alcohol, and you're putting carcinogens in your body that doesn't allow your body to break down that dietary fat to actual or dietary cholesterol to blood level cholesterol. If you are inflamed, if you are not optimizing your gut health, and the foods that you're putting in your body are disrupting your body, it's not going to be able to break down because your cells are inflamed and it can't actually be used the proper way. So this is why you need to make sure your diet is clean before you even consider following this diet plan. Consider, because I eat clean every single day. My clients eat clean every single day. They don't drink, they don't put bullshit in their body because they know what's going to happen if they do that. They know. And also raw milk. Raw milk is really good. People are always questioning, oh, am I going to get sick from raw milk? There's more sicknesses from pasteurized milk than raw milk. You can look it up. If you have raw milk available, go to realmilk.com, put in your zip code, see what local sources are available to you. Go get raw milk. Don't drink it, you know, 10 times a day. Use it as a supplement, 1 cup a night, 1.5 cups. Use it as a supplement, and it's going to make you feel so much better, and you're going to see more progress in the gym and getting shredded. Now, for the carbs, it kind of depends where you're at specifically, but potatoes, ideally sweet potatoes, those things are, lower calorie, but will fill you up more. Do not eat the skin ideally, because potatoes are on the dirty dozen, which means they are sprayed with a lot of glyphosate and estrogenic pesticides. So you don't want to eat the skin, because that's where all the pesticides are absorbed. Now, organic white rice, this is a very good carb source. And then, of course, fruit. Ideally, kiwis, oranges, and dates. Those are my go-to fruits because they are high in micronutrients and relatively low in calories aside from dates. So if you're going to eat dates, don't eat more than 2 to 3 a day. And then local raw honey, 1 to 1.5 tablespoons a day, depending on what your goals are. Maybe 2 tablespoons if you really got a bulk. But those are the carb sources. And then for fats, it's mainly just what you're cooking your protein sources in. Ghee for steaks, it gets a better taste, a better sear. Butter for eggs, better taste, better cooking. And then avocados for before bed or with other meals. And then, of course, organic black coffee. And then to season your foods, you can do sea salt. You can do other seasonings that are going to help you, eat ground beef, eggs every single day. Just make sure those seasonings are organic, like, oregano or garlic powder or onion powder. You can add things like that to your ground beef, to your steaks. Just make sure it's organic, and make sure they don't add seed oils like sunflower oil, grapeseed oil. They add oils to these seasonings for some reason. I don't know why, because the way the big companies are built is just made to corrupt you. But yeah, this is the grocery list that you need to be getting every single time. And if you are diversifying the way you eat foods, these foods you can eat forever because it tastes good and it makes you feel good. So let's get into the diet plan. So there's really only like 3 things or 4 things that you need to optimize for. So of course, you're going to either be packing on mass or recomping. So you're either putting on muscle or you're losing fat and putting on muscle. That's what recomping means. So I optimize it so there's a morning lifting, an evening lifting, and a morning lifting and evening lifting, because I know some of you guys like to go in the morning. Some of you guys like to go in the evening. Me personally, I like to lift in the evening because I have calories in my system. I have more carbs in my system, and I can get more electrolytes in, and it just makes me a lot stronger. But some people prefer to lift in the morning, and if you're going to lift in the morning, I would recommend you lift fasted. So here are the meal plans. Now, for pre-workout, you always want to do raw honey plus a pinch of sea salt. I don't care if you're lifting in the morning, lifting in the evening, lifting in the afternoon. I don't have meal plans for the afternoon. If you lift in the afternoon, I don't know why, either morning or evening. It's just weird lifting in the afternoon. But yeah, this is pretty much how I break it down. So the first thing is ground beef or steak, 12 to 16 ounces after your workout. You want to optimize all your meal plans to be eating after your workout. I've always been eating after my workout. I think your body absorbs the most protein after your workout, and you're going to be the most hungry after your workout. So try to optimize all your meals around when you're working out when it comes to carbs, proteins, fats. And that's exactly what these meal plans have been optimized for. So 16 ounces of ground beef, 2 eggs, 1 cup of rice, 1 piece of fruit. This is a lot of carbs, but remember, you are packing on mass. If you are packing on mass, you want to have higher carbs as opposed to recomping, because you don't need to worry as much about getting fat because your metabolism is probably pretty high. And if you're eating clean, it's going to be really hard to put on fat. So 1 cup of rice, 1 piece of fruit, 2 eggs, 16 ounces of ground beef, 12 ounces of ground beef if you're a little smaller. And then meal two, 12 ounces of ground beef, 3 eggs, 1 avocado, 1 cup of raw milk. This isn't necessary, but this is where I would include it in that second meal. Because if you put it in that third meal, you might have to wake up to piss in the middle of the night, and you don't want to do that. And then if you want to, switch up a meal, 10 to 12 ounces of steak, 1 potato, 1 tablespoon of butter, and 1 piece of fruit. And then meal before bed. This is very critical. You can see across all, they have pretty much the same meal before bed, because one, it's easy to digest, and two, it's hitting your micronutrients. So before bed, you want to optimize for two things: magnesium and cholesterol. So the eggs are going to hit your cholesterol, and the avocado is going to hit your magnesium. So when you stack them, your sleep's going to be really good, and you're going to wake up in the morning with a pull, which signifies you have high testosterone. So you need to make sure you're eating this meal no matter what before bed. 6 eggs, 1 avocado, and if you're bulking, 1 tablespoon of raw honey will enhance the sleep a little bit. And then this is basically the same as this, just kind of rewired to what times you're eating the meals. So if you're not lifting in the morning, I would always recommend fasting. That is what I do. So I fast till 1 to 2 p.m. and then I break my meal with 12 to 16 ounces of ground beef, 2 eggs, 1 cup of rice, 1 piece of fruit. That is pretty much the meal that I eat every single day. And then I'll go to work out at 5 to 6 p.m. So I'll take 1 tablespoon raw honey, pinch of sea salt. And then at 6 to 7, I'll have the post-workout meal, which is 10 to 12 ounces of ground beef, 3 eggs, 1 avocado. And then I usually, when I'm cutting, I don't have a cup of milk. But if you are bulking, put a cup of milk in there, maybe two if you really need to put on mass. Then you can switch it for that. And of course, the pre-bed meal. Same thing goes for the recomping. The only difference here, and the only difference with these meals, is really the macros and of course the calories. It's just smaller portions, less carbs, less calories. So right here, you really want to make sure you're getting more fat. Or more carbs. So 20% carbs, sometimes even 25% carbs is completely normal when you're trying to pack on mass, because you just got to get more calories in. But if you're trying to lose body fat while gain muscle, you want to keep the carbs around 15%. I wouldn't say any more than 20%, but ideally 15%. And of course, keeping the protein high and the fats high. Now, a lot of people, when they try to lose body fat and gain muscle, they instantly drop the fat to 15, 10%, maybe 20%. You never want to do that. You never want to decrease the fat to try to hit your goals. And the reason I say that is because fat is where all the micronutrients are, the fat soluble vitamins and the cholesterol. And that's what's going to get you higher testosterone, optimize your hormones so you can shred quicker without suffering. And fat is also going to keep you more full. So if you cut down the fat and you increase the carbs, you're actually going to be more hungry, which is going to cause you to binge eat, overeat, and things like that. So always keep the fat high. I recommend 45 to 50%. Now, of course, you want to make sure you're managing your calories so you're not overeating and the foods that you're eating. But when you keep the fat high, you keep the protein high, and you adjust your carbs, it's going to be a lot easier to hit your goals. And this is why I add additional habits to these things, because when you're packing on mass, walking isn't really necessary. I still walk 1.5 miles a day, either in the morning or maybe 10, 15 minutes after a meal, just to help with digestion. And then, of course, hydrating with 0.75 to 1 gallon of water every single day with sea salt added every single time that I drink. And then walk approximately 3.5 miles daily when I'm cutting. When I'm cutting, I just decrease the carbs and increase the walking. So as you can see here, 3.5, sometimes even 4 miles a day compared to 1.5 miles. That is a significant increase, and that's going to result in around 200 to 400 more calories burned, which can easily, when you decrease your carbs as well, that can easily put you in a 300, 200 calorie deficit every single day, which, in the long term, a week, 2 weeks, a month, that's going to help you lose 3 pounds of fat, 5 pounds of fat, 10 pounds of fat, depending on where you're at. And then, of course, hydrating as well. So that is pretty much how I optimize my diet plan and my other habits to hit my goals no matter what. This is literally it. This is what I follow. This is what all my clients follow to hit the goals. And this is all you need to follow. It's that simple. Of course, you can see these plans, you can do these things, but if you're not consistent, it doesn't mean anything. And this is what I want to talk about even more. You have to adapt this lifestyle. No more protein shakes, no more pasteurized milk, no more vegetables, no more processed food, only clean animal based foods. It's going to make you feel better and look better. And the reason I'm saying this is because I did the exact same thing. Look at me doing this diet. I did this diet for 2-3 years. I felt like shit. I look like shit. Look at my face. Look at my face. I have fucking acne. Look at my gut. I'm bloated. Look at my face. I'm bloated. My gut health was terrible. If your gut health's terrible, you're gonna have acne. If your gut health's terrible, you're gonna be bloated. I had low testosterone because these foods, they don't include micronutrients. Where am I getting my micronutrients from? Some pasteurized milk that is boiled out of all the nutrients? I'm not getting my nutrients. Low energy. Oh, I'm not hitting my micronutrients. How am I going to get energy? I don't have any vitamins. I'm none of this stuff is going to get you the results that you want. I don't know who has to tell you that aside from me, but it's not going to get you the results that you want until you adapt the animal-based lifestyle and the test maxing lifestyle. You're never going to have high energy. You're never going to be able to get tan like me. You're never going to be able to get shredded because it's not how our ancestors lived. Once I adapted eating a bunch of red meat, not listening to what the FDA says or what other people say, but with my own trial and error, that's when I was able to see more results. And that's exactly what happens to my clients. Danny right here, he came to me. He was kind of doing this exact same diet. As you can see, he looks pretty bloated. He has some muscle, just like me, but he's not really shredded. His testosterone's not high because he was lacking micronutrients. But once, this is only a 2-month difference. Look at his, muscle fullness. Look at his chest. Look at his shoulders and arms. Look at his shreds. His energy is a lot better. His focus is a lot better because he optimized his diet around this. He's literally following this exact diet right here. He's following this exact diet right here every single day. And he's packing on mass. I'm following this diet every single day. And I'm packing on mass. I see it time and time again. Time and time again. Because I know through my trial and error, through my clients' trial and error, that this is exactly what works. And that's why I was able to see these gains. That's why these people, my clients, Louis, John, Mitch, me, were able to see gains because this is the lifestyle that you should live. This is the diet that you should follow every single day. You're going to feel amazing. You're going to wake up with instant energy. You're never going to crash. You're never going to have any sort of health problems again if you follow this diet and avoid the crap. If you follow this diet and avoid the crap, you are going to become a superhuman. And if you want custom plans, custom workout plans, one-on-one guidance, one-on-one accountability to see results like my clients here, Louis, John, Mitch, or Danny down here, go to the description and book a call, and I'll see if you're a good fit for this coaching. But don't book a call if you're not ready to cut out the bullshit. Don't book a call if you're not ready to be consistent. Because if you, I can tell you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I just told you all this stuff that you have to eat here. Now, 90% of you, not even 90, I'd say 75% of you probably aren't going to do this diet long term. I don't know why. I don't know how, but you're not. Because this information's probably been out there. But if you're someone who's ready to make a change and increase your testosterone forever and level up your life forever, book a call with me and I'll see if you're a good fit. Because I know that everyone should be following this diet because it changed my life and it's changing people's lives and my coaching and other people every single day. Because this is how our ancestors ate. This is how people ate before the Industrial Revolution, all that stuff. It's how we're meant to eat, not fucking Cheetos, not chicken and rice, not protein shakes, none of that bullshit. Get that shit out of here. Seriously. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to screenshot this, make sure to follow this, and subscribe for more videos like this.